I've been warning you for a bunch of days now that there's going to be a big storm out on the west coast again, and atmospheric river is going to slide on down through British Columbia, make its way into the United States coastal regions. Okay, wind warning has been issued for Haida, Gwaii. First shots fired. Now we have some new information on the wind warning from Haida, Gwaii. Another quick look at where things are going. Okay, Caribou Weather Dude YouTube channel. Hit like, share, subscribe. Tell a friend. Let's go. There it is. This is bad news. My God.
Falling out right now.
Anything could happen. Get on! Wow. I'll watch the video later. They try mopping this. On the bad news battle board today, fresh wind warning for Haida, Gwaii. Up to 110 kilometers an hour. Extremely strong winds, especially over exposed coastal sections. Tonight, that's for exposed coastal sections of Haida, Gwaii. A strong funnel system will move across Haida, Gwaii tonight, generating very strong southeast winds. Winds will rise rapidly this evening to 70 kilometers an hour southeast, gusting to 90, maybe even 110 over exposed coastal sections. Winds will subside below warning criteria early Wednesday morning, but conditions will remain blustery. Early weather model indications suggest a second wind warning level event will occur Wednesday night into Thursday morning, so be prepared for another one. Of course, that storm's up there, and it's slashing up against the U.S. coast, and some of that's spilling over into the pass. So we have at Haines Road, Haines Junction to Pleasant Camp, snowfall warning there, 20 to 30 centimeters up on the Haines, possible by Wednesday evening. This evening through Wednesday night. So for the next 2 days, strong storm, like we just said, has moved into the Gulf of Alaska today and spreading snow to the region tonight. Freezing levels will be near the pass level, allowing for wet snow mixed at times with rain. Snow levels will fall through the evening with heavy snow expected when this happens. So it'll start snowing lower and lower down the mountain. Visibility may be reduced. Unstable conditions follow for Wednesday afternoon with the potential for heavy snow flurries in advance of the second storm system on Wednesday night. Several storm systems. So that's the first shots fired on what is our weekend story. For a lot of us in the interior, the big story coming into the weekend is snow. Snow, and not just the fact that there'll be snow, but that the snow level is going to drop on down. Meteorologist Mark says it may come as low as 3,000 feet, which means here in Wells, we will have transitioned into winter this weekend. So if you have outside things to get done, here comes the snow over the course of the weekend. And by the time we hit to the 31st, most places in the BC interior will have seen a little bit of snow. Of course, some of that mixed with rain at times falling. And then you have the gap in the central interior where not much tends to fall in general. It's the dry shadow, which areas around Quesnel, Williams Lake, for example, often find themselves in. Although does Kamloops and Kelowna as well in their section of the rain shadow, they may actually see a few flurries come in. If not, rain for sure, a little bit of that this weekend. So that's just a little bit of our look at where we're going this weekend for snowfall. You can see that snow piling up on the big mountain range between U.S. and Canada, Alaska and British Columbia. And you can see how some of that's going to come up into the White Pass there by Wednesday. Heavy precipitation along the coast of BC, even some making its way down to Vancouver Island. And now we're going to watch this is precipitation in millimeters coming down, so the color doesn't necessarily indicate whether it's snow or not. Don't be confused by that. It's about the rate of falling. So once you're into the yellows, you're at 100 millimeters of rain. So looking at 100 millimeters of rain already having come through by the end of Friday, and we'll watch how that works its way on down. Now the atmospheric river has made its way into the stateside. So it's probably going to just pass over us, which means it'll be a large rain event, but it won't necessarily be incredibly destructive. May have a couple landslides and things like that from water saturation. We don't have much snow though right now, so I don't think that river levels will come up a crazy amount. I don't expect to see a major flooding story this weekend. I think the story really is the real beginning of winter in the high country, for sure beginning of winter. The snow level comes down to 3,000 feet. That means that's 1,000 feet lower than I live in Wells. Okay, more on this. I like looking at wind gusts more than steady winds just because it makes for a sexier picture. You can see already we got some ships out there reporting 80s, and they're not in the storm. They're kind of out in front of it. So you wouldn't want to be in this section of the storm right now. Thankfully, nobody really is. So we're looking at wind gusts because it gives you a sexier color. If there's a gust that goes 104 kilometers an hour, that's extremely strong, but that doesn't necessarily mean that the winds will be steady at that speed. No, 78 steady, though, that's still pretty good. So looking at wind gusts, looking at the possibility of that coming into Haida Gwaii. Boom, by late this afternoon, mid-afternoon, early evening. So I'm sure you are all aware on Haida Gwaii of what happens when it gets windy. You've seen it all many times, been a part of it many times. So here's our winds coming into Haida Gwaii tonight, picking up as the night gets on. Rain and thunder and snow, our next topic. Heavy rainfall coming to Haida Gwaii. So the timing of the rainfall and the timing of the wind obviously are going to be quite connected. So we'll switch off wind and look at precip here, and you can see for yourself how overnight that first band of wind and rain really slams through Haida Gwaii, makes its way on down. And we can see the beginning of what will be our atmospheric river kind of setting itself up now. Heavy snow through northern BC, Yukon border, Alaska, heavy rain on the coast, a little bit of flurries in northern BC up into the Rockies on Wednesday morning. And you can see the next low sort of tailing in behind. It just joins in more or less and is going to become one big atmospheric river, one big long tail. Other than that, things pretty clear in Western Canada for the most part for the next bunch of days until this story comes on in. You can see, so we're getting that next round on Wednesday afternoon. And as we know, we said a secondary event for Haida Gwaii. This is it coming right now. It's a secondary tail that kind of joined into the party. It wasn't this storm originally. It was a secondary storm, but it has merged, or will merge, I should say. So we're expecting that to merge. A little bit of precip in the interior, Caribou and whatnot, down Highway 16, Highway 5 on Wednesday evening. Most of that falling as rain, a little bit of snow in the high country. Here's the next round for Haida Gwaii. The next round comes early Thursday morning. Brings, again, heavy rain, heavy wind, heavy nastiness, heavy nonsense. We'll be looking closely at snow totals this weekend as we get going forward. It's only Tuesday right now. I think that Thursday we're seeing the storm start to slap up against the province. So I think tomorrow I'm going to have definitive forecasts on some of this stuff. More definitive, like this area gets this much, this and that. But as we can see, heavy snow, heavy rain in the mountains around Terrace, heavy rain in the region around there. You can see that atmospheric river making its way on down. It's moving. That's nice for us. Mostly rain in the central interior, mostly rain through the Bulkley, Skeena, and whatnot. But the cold front will knock the temperatures on down. We'll see our snow levels drop in behind this low. There's the atmospheric river making its way on down by Friday, 1 in the morning. It'll have crossed through most of Vancouver Island. By 5 in the morning, it should be largely off the island. So we're looking at that Friday morning being when the atmospheric river will largely pass through there and will, of course, visit the coast mountains with lots of rainfall, maybe even snow at the higher elevations. We're still seeing some showers in the morning in the interior on Friday morning. But now we're coming into our unsettled weekend. There's our atmospheric river now slapping up the entire coastline. May even get some of California as well. That's going to be a big story for them this weekend. Definitely they're taking much more of the atmospheric river on the chin. There's more threat for them, whereas for us in BC, it's mostly beneficial rain, I think, although be pretty extreme at times. Now we've seen that temperature has been dropping down in behind that low. Now we see our snow start to pick up a little bit on Saturday morning. And if you got travel plans this weekend, you are probably going to be running into some of this nasty weather. Secondary low finally moves in on Saturday afternoon, and now we're seeing widespread snowfall throughout the province on the weekend, especially the high mountain passes. If you have any plans to go anywhere this weekend, you better be paying attention closely. I would suggest traveling in some of this weather is going to be a bad idea. More on this tomorrow, everybody. Keep coming back. Caribou Weather Dude YouTube channel just made a great video about Blue Jays going to the World Series. Make sure you come watch that in the channel. I'll give some opinions, some predictions, some wow moments, even tell you where I rank George Springer's home run on the list of greatest Blue Jay home runs ever hit. Hit like, share, subscribe. Caribou Weather Dude. See you next time. Bye.